If I were going to talk, if I were going to sort of review the Trump, Putin, Vance events, the conversations over the last few weeks, I'd probably be wanting to make some sort of reference to Faust. I'm going to try and avoid any sort of Faustian diplomacy links. And stick more to the facts if I possibly can. We're told that we're living through the dawn of Liberation Day. Though one does wonder, liberation for whom? For the people of Ukraine, hardly. For the democratic world order, certainly not. Or more plausibly for Vladimir Putin, who seems to be liberated from the need to feign interest in peace altogether. If we begin with the facts, on April the 1st, today, April Fool's Day, one person has already tried to tease me. He managed it last year by saying that he joined the Labour Party. This year he tried the same joke, and I'm not fooled twice. But President Putin signed off on the mobilization of another 160,000 Russian citizens, not for a May Day parade or Eurovision choreography, but for war. Why? Because peace has become profitable for the aggressor. A new round of ceasefire talks brokered, if that's the word, by the Trump administration has managed to deliver everything Putin could possibly want: delay, distraction, and the chance to press his advantage from a position of cynical strength. You see, Trump, ever the deal maker, believes Putin is a person that you can reason with, that he wants peace, that the Lord of the Flies from his icy lair deep inside the Smeg fridge is merely misunderstood. I regret to detail this. This is the diplomatic equivalent of hiring Satan as your wedding planner because you believe he's mellowed. One wonders how surprised anyone should be. Trump has always had a peculiar weakness for strong men. Putin, Xi, each a mirror of his own authoritarian aspirations, only this time the stakes are not rhetorical. This time it's the sovereignty of a European nation. So here is the précis of the so-called peace process. The US asks for a ceasefire, Ukraine agrees. Russia rejects it, but proposes a ceasefire on energy strikes. The US agrees, Ukraine agrees, and within 24 hours Russia bombs Ukrainian energy infrastructure anyway. The US responds a diplomatic shrug and a minerals deal. This isn't peacemaking, this is appeasement with a sinister edge, because the US is not merely failing to restrain Russian aggression, it's actively tilting the balance in Moscow's favour, with the suppression of the intelligence and then the goading into action of Putin, warming him up as if you're sort of quietly stroking a vodka and whatever, a vodka straight, a vodka on the rocks. The message to Kyiv: stop fighting, surrender your land, hand over your natural possessions, your resources, your minerals, and then be grateful that we haven't taken your fingernails too. As the Trump regime surrenders leverage faster than a supermarket trolley, under the weight of a tin of beans, flatulent beans, Putin grows confident. The smell is evident. You only have to go near the Smeg fridge, don't even have to open the door. Why negotiate when you're winning by doing nothing? Russia is playing the long game. It's called wait, grab and repeat. Meanwhile, Ukraine is playing a very different game. It's called survival. And they're smiling through gritted teeth, performing their diplomatic ballet, all the while begging Europe to fill the void where American military aid used to be. They know that Trump's vision of peace includes no NATO, no security guarantees, no sovereignty. What it does include is the slow erosion of their democracy, wrapped in gold foil and stamped with "Made in Mar-a-Lago." It's no wonder Ukraine sees this charade for what it is, not a peace process, but a power play. They're willing. They are holding the line with blood, not ballots, while Trump sends Marco Rubio as NATO to NATO as his emissary, and talks about elections. This man talks about elections. It's a bit like sending Marco Rubio is a bit like sending a Labrador to negotiate with a lion, well-meaning but likely to be eaten. And the rest of the world? Here lies the deeper tragedy. America's retreat from its role as global guarantor has emboldened autocrats everywhere. Israel's Gaza offensive grows more brazen. These people who can jail adversaries more easily than cancelling a dentist appointment. Rwandan forces invading the Congo. El Salvador running prisons that make Guantanamo Bay look like a Center Parcs retreat. The tone has changed. There's no longer even the pretense of American moral leadership. Trump's foreign policy is not so much real politics as raw politics. Transactional, indifferent, glebiously amateurish. Even academics have had enough. Yale's finest, Timothy Snyder, Marcy Shaw, Jason Stanley, have fled to Canada and Europe. Snyder, a man who has spent his career studying the collapse of democracy, has now booked a front row seat to its potential sequel. This, I think, is the real brain drain, not a trickle but a pipeline of intellectual capital, abandoning a nation whose leader seems more interested in mining Ukraine's minerals than defending Western civilization. And what are the consequences? As the United States dismantles the very liberal order it once built, China and Russia step into the vacuum. The spheres of influence grow starker, more divided. Authoritarianism is not just rising, it's been rewarded. So I have to ask, is America unwilling to lead or simply unable to lead? Is this abdication born of inadequacy or of disinterest? The uncomfortable answer, I think, is both. Which brings me back to Liberation Day. It's not the liberation of Ukraine, it's the liberation of tyranny, from restraint, from constraint, of democracy, from credibility, from existence, of Trump, from anything resembling strategic thought. If history has taught us anything, it's that peace, real peace, doesn't come from trusting glebus men who admire their reflection in the eyes of tyranny. The Lord of the Flies is not a diplomat. He is not misunderstood. He does not mean well. And if you invite him in, he will redecorate your fridge. He will eat the contents. He will shatter the door. He will declare himself head chef. He will freeze the kitchen. And then some. And then some. Your dining room, sub-zero. The world, sub-zero. The Arctic, fit for ravaging, for ravishing. This is what Trump is ushering in. This is what Putin has always offered. Putin has been clear, just as the devil is clear.